Hey Crime Style listeners, what is up? This is our first live video. We're just trying it out. I'm Ashley, and with me always is
Ricky.
And we're so excited to give this a try. We have an amazing case that we want to cover. So we hope that you guys are all staying safe with your families at home, battling the quarantine, battling the virus. So we're excited.
It's been rough for us.
Yeah, we've been bored. We're getting bored.
We haven't left the house. We haven't done anything.
I redid a whole table, and I can't believe I finished it. But
honestly, I get really excited to go to the grocery store, which I know we're not supposed to.
Yeah, and I think
I only go for the essentials, but it is like super exciting when we're out of milk because I'm like, let's go.
And how many times do you think we check the mailbox? Just, I don't know. I don't know. It's just.
We also have been ordering so much stuff.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't do that.
No.
It's just I'm bored. I want to see like the Amazon guy, you know.
Yeah, just like, hey, some communication, just some human interaction. But today we are covering the missing case of Kyron Richard Horman. And he's a 7-year-old boy who was living in Portland, Oregon with his dad and stepmother. The day that he was last seen was on June 4th, 2010. And
such a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, if I think about 2010, it really wasn't like that long ago, but really it's about 10 years ago. But yeah, on this day, he's a second grader. He was attending his last day of school at the Skyline Elementary School. And on this particular day, the school was holding a science fair. And I did see somewhere where they were also doing like a talent show and probably a few other things. So there was a lot of people, a lot of parents who were attending this as well with their children. And the science fair was actually before classes. So it started at, I believe it started at 8 a.m. And then their classes started at 10. So it was before school. And for the science fair, Kyron Horman actually did a project on the red-eyed tree frog, which he actually put a lot of work into it. And
which for a 7-year-old, that's like a pretty cool project.
I kind of want to learn more about
like what 7-year-old doesn't love frogs, let alone tree frogs.
So and he looks like he looks like the type of kid that was probably really into this project. With bugs, frogs, anything like that at age 7. It was probably a fun thing to do with his family. But it's so sad that, this particular day was his last day that anyone has ever seen him. He just, like we said, just disappeared. And this actually sparked the largest ever search and rescue operation in Oregon. Since this investigation, it actually was a case that brought a new law to Oregon in 2011, which required all schools to notify the parents if their child has been absent. So like if you were a student when this happened, I know, I think I was in like 9th grade or something, like whenever I would be absent and I'd be like, why is the school calling? And then they would.
I know. Well, I mean, I'm super old at this point, but even back then, like, I always got busted for that. Like, I would skip school or I didn't go to school for some reason. And, like, my mom would be calling me from work being like, hey, like, get to school.
Yeah, like, you know? Well, you lived in a small school. It was kind of different for me.
Yeah, but I guess it's a little different. Everyone knows everyone. But
right. But this story is just so heartbreaking. It's a young boy. He just still hasn't been found to this day. And it's a continuing open investigation. His mom hopes every day, it will be the day that she finds Kyron. And we checked.
I guess, that's not, it would be really hard with that amount of time to not just be like, oh, he's definitely, not with us anymore.
Every single day.
But I mean, it happens. Like we see cases, you just showed me a case not too long ago where it was an adult who saw himself like on a missing poster.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, but
he could still be,
and it's rare, but it could happen.
Yeah,
I mean, there's still hope that he's, alive, I guess.
There is, and but there's definitely some suspicion to this case. There's definitely some foul play, suspicions, and like activity that the police are still investigating, and So along with this case, we also checked out the Facebook page. It's titled Kyron Horman's World Soldiers. There's over 49,000 people that are following, liking, sharing pictures of Kyron. This one here that you actually see is him standing in front of his red-eyed tree frog project, which you can see.
I kind of want to point out just because I think it's cute. Like, even I remember making these like ourselves, even with our son, like having like the shoebox and actually gluing the little leaves and everything. Like, I just love it. Like, and you can tell here, like, there's little frogs like kind of hiding in the bushes. Like, it's just such a cool
fun little
thing.
Project to do. He looks like he's in his classroom too. So this particular picture was actually taken by his stepmother, or some people call her the step monster, Terry Horman. She was able to attend his science fair. His father was actually working on this day. His biological mother was not in this area. She actually was living 4.5 hours away from Portland, Oregon. So a little background about Kyron's family situation. Kyron was living with his dad, Kane, and stepmother, Terry. And they both got married in 2007. And they gave birth to a baby girl, which when Kyron went missing, she was 19 months old.
So this would have been Kyron's, half baby sister.
Yeah. Yep. And then Kyron was brought into Terry's side of the family, and Terry also had a son named James who was brought into the family. So it's definitely like a blended family situation.
Honestly, pretty typical these days.
Yeah, it is. I've never been in a blended family situation, but this is how this was. Kyron's biological mom, her name was Desiree Young, and she tried to be in the picture as much as possible. They actually, Kane is the father, Desiree is the biological mother. So they actually got a divorce while she was pregnant with Kyron. So the two, they were actually got a divorce while she was still pregnant. And whenever he was born, they both shared custody. And eventually Kane took over full custody of Kyron in 2004. After Desiree, she actually got very ill with kidney failure.
Kidney failure.
Yeah, and she was spending a lot of time in the hospital, so she wasn't able to see him as much as she liked.
So I thought this was interesting because when you were first showing me this case, I was I guess I was thinking the wrong thing, but I was assuming, okay, the mom doesn't have custody of Kyron, like maybe there's some issues there. But that wasn't the case at all. They split up before Kyron was even born. A lot of times, like, it's really hard for like the mom not to have custody. Like, usually they either have to mess up or they just don't want the kid. And it really wasn't like that.
This wasn't the case.
Like, they loved their son. She loved her son just as much as everyone else. It was that type of situation.
It was to have kidney failure. I don't even know much about that, but I could imagine like that was probably pretty rough.
It takes up a lot of time, and you probably can't be there for him as much as you'd like to.
Yeah, sad. But anyway, we'll go ahead and jump into the day Kyron went missing. So we painted the picture for the family, the family situation. The day was June 4th. He was 7 years old. He was a second grader. He dressed up in this CSI t-shirt on the day, wearing his glasses there. He's a cute boy.
I love that shirt though.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell he loves science.
So, yeah, he definitely looks like a science kid. And he was on his way to school. And like we said, they were doing a science fair. Terry was taking him along with their daughter, drove him to school. They arrived at the school around 8 a.m. And so they arrived at the science fair. Kyron walks up to his project. Terry takes a picture of him. This is the picture Terry took.
Yeah, so this would have been the picture they took, right?
Yeah. And like we said, this is the last known picture of him. This is the last time, like, it's been documented. So it's just like so sad. So the school was putting on the science fair, and then they were to start classes at 10 a.m. So Terry, she left the school and before she left, she saw Kyron walking to his classes. So, she saw him, walked, and she's walking into her truck, got in, took off, and ran a few errands. So that's the baseline of the story. But
and it gets a little weird too, because, and we'll get into it, but she can't quite remember what she did that day.
Yeah,
which is strange.
A little odd. The whole situation is just so odd. While she did the errand, she went to the grocery store. She did a few things. We'll talk more about her timeline. But, it was just a typical day. Everyone went on with their day as if it was normal. Her dad and stepmom came home from work and their errands. They're waiting at the bus stop for Kyron. And just like they normally would do, it was 3:30 p.m. The bus pulls up, but Kyron did not step off the bus.
Which, that's such a scary thing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of thinking okay, if that were to happen, or maybe he's at school still. Maybe he missed the bus at school and, he's still there. Terry actually thought he was at school and was playing a game, which, okay, why would he be playing a game? But
I guess it's one of those things too, because we've been in this situation, and God forbid it hasn't happened, but where our son didn't get off the bus right away.
Yeah.
He was
he did actually.
He was messing around in the back and missed his stop. Yeah. So it's that type of situation is so scary, and then it's oh my God. But then it always ends up okay. But in this type of situation, it's so it's crazy to me because it wasn't okay. He wasn't just in the back of the bus. He wasn't just at the school playing a game.
And even though your mind crosses the worst case scenario, another side of your mind's kind of okay, well maybe he's probably just at school. He's probably let's figure out what happened. So what they do is they call the secretary. They call the school. The secretary picks up. Secretary says that Kyron has been absent all day. We never marked him as present in his, from his first class. He's never been here today. So,
and to clarify, basically what happened is they had the science fair first, and then all of the students went off to that first class, their homeroom, and then the parents left. Yeah. So somewhere in between, Kyron never made it. Yeah. He never made it to that first class.
So I'm kind of thinking between 8:45, whenever, that's the time that Terry said she left the school. From 8:45 to 10 o'clock was when classes started. They marked for attendance. So somewhere in between that time frame is where even investigators believe is where, Kyron went missing. Where did he go? We don't have proof. We don't know. But we'll go on with the story, and, you guys can also give your 2 cents as to what you think might have happened. And on this particular day, it's kind of weird because the school believed that Kyron was to have a doctor's appointment on this day. Terry notified the school days before and said that she was to take him to a doctor's appointment, but the school. So the school had that written down, but then Terry turns around and says that the school had this all confused. It was to be on June 11th, not the 4th. So they had this wrong. And if you're thinking what we were thinking, why didn't the school call them?
That would be the reason.
The dad was at school all day long, the dad was at work all day long and never got called that Kyron wasn't in.
But in this situation, coincidentally, they wouldn't have called because it was written down in their records that Kyron had a doctor's appointment. And
that's what they said. They're well, we assumed that he was at a doctor's appointment and he wasn't coming in.
So even if anyone saw him, which, people did, they would just think, oh, he came to the science fair and then they went to the appointment.
I mean, that's what they thought. And the thing is, this was the last day of school, so why would Terry even tell the school that the appointment was on the 11th? If the last day of school was the 4th, it wouldn't even be the school wouldn't even need to know that.
Right.
So I don't know where she would be getting that from.
So the 4th was a Friday, the last day of school. So, her excuse here is well, no, I said next Friday.
Yeah.
Or something. So she's saying there's, a miscommunication here, but like we're saying, why would there be a miscommunication? There's no school next week. there shouldn't be like any confusion here.
Right. So as soon as the secretary answers the phone, they go over the call that he's not there, he hasn't been there. I don't know what I would be thinking at that point as a parent. Like, I would be completely lost. But the secretary calls the police, and the police arrive at the elementary school, and the search starts immediately at 4:33 p.m. Every room, every corner, every closet, everywhere was searched. It was searched up and down, which it took about 6 hours of searching over a 2-mile radius around the school, outside of the school. And this search actually extended to a 10-day search. And it was now June 12th. On June 12th, still no Kyron, still no sign. But the search continued. Around 300 trained rescuers were...
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. They were all trained. They're rescuers. They were searching on the ground, searching wooded areas near the school. There's actually an island near the school. It's actually in Oregon, like a rainforest. I'm not too familiar with the area.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that either. But yeah, they said it's a rainforest in Oregon.
Yeah, it is.
Crazy.
So, which looked beautiful, but I don't know how big it is. If you guys know, you can let us know. I didn't look up that much information about it, but the search was just all over the area. And then it extended to 1,300 searchers in Oregon, Washington, and California. A reward was even posted for $25,000, and then it expanded to $50,000 in late July 2010. The detectives were also searching, obviously, the Horman property. They wanted to search the belongings. Could they find anything suspicious as to like where he might have went? Like, was there anything kind of like alarming, like, obviously it's kind of weird because Terry was the last person to see Kyron.
Right.
So, she was definitely a suspicious target, like right off the bat.
But at this point, everybody was cooperating, even Terry.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone was cooperating. They really wanted to find him. It was scary. Mm-hmm. But they... So what they did was, with any case, they do like a press conference. At first, Kyron's parents didn't speak to the media. They were kind of hesitant. I mean,
which a lot of people questioned them right off the bat.
Yeah, like, why aren't they talking? Like,
yeah, because a lot of times in these cases, you want to get out there. You want to, get it on the news because it reaches so many people. But they kind of like step back. Which,
I mean, there's no right or wrong reason or answer as to how you would really react. I mean, this is traumatizing. I don't even know how I would react because it hasn't happened. So, they were most likely in shock at this point. So we can't really like blame them. But, obviously as us as like people looking from the outside in, we're like, oh, what's going on with that? They're suspicious.
Yeah.
But weeks later, Kyron's mother, Desiree, and Kyron's father, Kane, and stepmother, they took the podium together and they dressed in these shirts that said Kyron is missing, with the details of I think it's the second one, Ricky.
Is it?
Yeah.
There we go.
So this is the picture. There's also a video if you go online and search like the video up. So from the left is Desiree's significant other.
I'm not sure if they were married. I'm not sure if they were
and then
dating.
Desiree's there with her arms crossed.
This is the biological mother.
Yeah, the red-haired lady is Terry.
Also known as the evil redhead by some people in the media.
The step monster.
Or step monster, right.
And then Kane is comforting Terry.
So one thing about this picture that's really interesting, though, and I think it's important, is that right here, like, you can tell everybody's kind of in this together still. Like, no one's really pointing fingers. No one's really turned on each other. It's very much for people who want to find the missing child.
Right. But what points out to you the most in this picture? Like, it pointed out to me, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, what points out to you the most?
To me, and correct me, but to me, it's just this... And it's hard to say because she was with Kyron his whole life, but she seems like the most distraught out of all of them.
Like, in my eyes, like, because I know this case and we've been looking at it.
Like putting on a show.
Like, yeah, like dramatic. Like, Like, it's about her. Like, I don't know.
It's
Maybe
like
I'm just being a jerk.
Yeah, it's like poor Terry at this point.
Yeah, it is. This is like poor Terry. But she has so much, like, we'll talk more about it, but she's just not a very good person, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. But we'll let you guys also be the judge with that. Now, obviously, with this kind of case, they do a polygraph test. Both Kyron's mother and father took the polygraph test. They both passed the first time. However, Terry, she's the stepmom who failed on her first try. And on the second try, she actually walked out because she said it wasn't being administered properly. She felt like, they weren't doing it the right way. And on the third time, she failed. So, they always say, like, polygraphs, you shouldn't take one because you might be nervous or you might be...
Sometimes it can incriminate you.
Yeah, it can, but...
And they're not held up. You can't, be held up in court of law or anything like that.
You can't really do anything.
It's dismissible.
The only thing that it did do was make her a very suspicious person, like,
But it's also odd that everyone else passed.
Everyone passed. Yeah. So Terry did not pass. She failed twice in the... that second time she actually walked out. She blamed it on the fact that she has hearing loss in her left ear. And while they were doing the test, the person who was taking the test was sitting, like, behind her.
Coincidentally.
Yeah, close
on the left
to
side.
her ear to try to... Well, it was actually on her right side to
or
try
on the
to,
right
like,
side, sorry.
talk into her ear. And she, I guess, like, reads lips. But who knows? Who really knows? I don't know.
But basically she was saying that being that it was like that, she couldn't hear him well, she couldn't read his lips, so it would have made uncertainty, and then it would have showed her as maybe like it jumping or she was lying. It's kind of weird, but like something that we did look up because we wanted to figure out how polygraphs work. Like for me it's one of those things that we hear about all the time, but I wanted to kind of know. But like during the whole procedure, they actually review the questions beforehand, and they make sure that you have a very good understanding. Yeah. And then at the beginning, they even ask you like a very simple, like, is your name Terry?
Just to kind of like...
Yeah, just to set like a, and so this confusion, we can't really say, oh no, she wasn't confused, but why would she be?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, she kind of also said too that she was... like she didn't eat and she didn't sleep very well. I mean, it's a definitely stressful situation. We can't really rely on the polygraph test, but it's definitely a suspicious act.
Yeah. But this is kind of just like the first of many things that make her suspicious.
Yeah, right.
And
she's never, throughout this whole case, even today, she's never been arrested. She's never been named a suspect. However, she's kind of always remained a person of interest. And it's a heartbreaking nightmare of a case. Really is.
On the outside, she's not, a suspect, but like, how could she not be the number one suspect? Like on the inside, they're just not saying it out loud.
Yeah. And then the two, Kane and Terry, they actually were having a difficult marriage towards around this time. Things were falling apart. Things weren't going very well. So, that's just another thing to add. Like they, both had children from different marriages, and things just weren't working out between them. So something to think about. And even Kane even said, he never would suspect her to do anything. But now at like this point, looking into their marriage, into their past, he kind of feels like, she had more, like something to do with this. Definitely. Desiree also thinks she is 100% responsible. The family believes that. But at this point, there's like, they don't have like any proof, which is just crazy. So we'll go into Terry's side of the story. Terry's statements to the police indicate that she stopped at 2 different grocery stores after leaving the school. She stopped at 2 different grocery stores to get medicine for her daughter who had an earache. So after that, she said she was driving around the town trying to soothe her earache with the motion of the car. And then she went to the gym. Which
brings up some questions right away.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the gym had like babysitting or childcare.
Yeah, like a YMCA.
I mean, it must have in this case, but
I know some of them do.
There's a lot of little things that I'm like, wait, she did what with the kid? Wait, especially when the kid is sick, like having an earache, like it's probably screaming, it's uncomfortable, like all those things, you know. And she just had like an amazing leisure day.
Yeah. And it's interesting because investigators have this theory that they believe that, like Terry did something to Kyron during this time that she's saying that she went to the store, that she was driving around, because they don't have proof of her actual timeline. They don't have surveillance footage of her walking into the store. They don't have, the owner was there. The owner said she never seen Terry or this lady walking into the store. So there's definitely like some questions and eyebrows raised. They do believe that she did actually go to the gym, and she went there she says that she went there for about an hour.
We're going to take a quick break here to tell you about BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online service that I personally use for my mental health. They provide a number of professional licensed counselors who specialize in all situations that may be interfering with your happiness. It's seriously my personal outlet to get my mind right. It's affordable. It's so convenient. I decided to give BetterHelp a shot when I was going through a very anxious part of my life. So I just signed up and I was matched with an amazing counselor who was so willing to talk with me right away. We actually set up a video chat later in the week to catch up. We are all so busy. Give yourself the care that you need today. Start living a happier life. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/crimesalad. Join over 800,000 people taking charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/crimesalad.
And after the gym, she headed home. She'd go wait for Kyron as he was supposed to come off the bus. But the whole time that she was gone, it was actually like a 3-hour window when Terry leaves the school at 8:45, and she does like her errands. She leaves the gym at about 11:39. So her timeline is really all over the place. She actually says a few different things, while investigators are asking her, like, can you go over that one more time? There was even a time where she said, maybe I was at a craft store. Maybe I went to a coffee shop.
Which is perfect in her situation, though.
Maybe she did. I don't know.
Yeah, and there's no way to say she doesn't or does believe.
But what's interesting is whenever police ping her cell phone location, she went to a place that she'd never mentioned. And this location was actually in this wooded area. What are you doing in a wooded area? Like, you're...
Not to mention, wouldn't you remember being in a weird wooded area?
Yeah, never mentioned it at all. But her cell phone pinged this location, and of course, we'll get more into that. That's where police did a heavy search, on that. But, she always comes up with like different versions of her timeline at this point. The police are just asking. She's working with police, but even people that knew Terry, she wasn't very approachable. She wasn't very like a kind person. So I'm sure that she kind of like was a little bit defiant.
Yeah.
And she, along with this questioning, she says that she saw Kyron with a man chaperone and 2 girls when she was leaving. So she added that in there kind of like after the fact that she tells her story, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And things just weren't adding up for the investigators. How don't you know like where you were exactly, especially on a day where your stepson just goes completely missing? And Desiree also brings this to the table where she says that she remembers everything that she did that day, like what she ate, where she was, like everything. So,
which I believe, like it's a big day. Like there's some things that happened in my past that were much less traumatic, and I remember like everything about that day.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's true love right there. If her, it's just the extreme love from Kyron's mom that I keep seeing like in all these videos is just so intense. It really is.
Yeah.
But there's something very, very interesting with this case. Along with this investigation, another person of interest comes into play. Her name is Dee Dee Spicer. Dee Dee is Terry's best friend, and it never really was released as to how Dee Dee actually came into this case, or came into like a suspicious role in this case. But Dee Dee was in Terry's personal circle for sure. It alarmed investigators when they found out the day that Kyron went missing, Dee Dee was working on a landscaping job, and during it, she just abruptly left. And this was all while she was at the client's house. And
the client couldn't get a hold of her at all.
Couldn't get a hold of her. She,
for how many hours?
I believe it was 90 minutes
90 minutes. Yeah. I mean, that's a long time, especially if you just like disappeared. It wasn't like a normal break.
Didn't say anything, just left. And the client, was calling, texting her cell phone, just never answered. But what she did was she eventually came back to the house, continued where she left off, working on the landscaping job.
And conveniently, though, the time that she went missing was that 3 hour, in between that 3 hour gap that Terry was, she has no idea where she was.
So the investigators are kind of thinking, like, what about this Dee Dee? Is she a part of this? Like,
yeah, like could Terry have like called her for help?
Yeah.
And she just abruptly left what she was doing, helped her, and came back like nothing ever happened.
Mm-hmm. And investigators also have proof that Dee Dee was giving her advice as to how to handle different situations about this case, which is kind of funny.
And with some of that advice also, you could slowly start to feel Terry just like taking a step back.
Yeah.
She's no longer like cooperating with the police. Mm-hmm. She actually lawyered up pretty quickly.
Yep.
And honestly, like, I understand that, eyes are speculating, towards your involvement, but I mean, your best interest is to find this kid, and all of a sudden you're going to shut off and not tell the police any more information.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation.
Yeah. And if Dee Dee was Terry's best friend, you think that she would have something to say. She never had anything to say.
Or an alibi.
Yeah.
Like, what was she doing in those 90 minutes?
Who knows? She never even said. She never even told the police what she was doing. Just basically left it at that. Mm-hmm. So with any open investigation, obviously the police don't tell the media everything. They kind of keep that stuff on the back burner, leaving it up for the investigation, leaving it up for court. They don't want to ruin anything with this open case for Kyron. So we don't know all of the full details, but we do know that, as we said before, her cell phone pinged into this location. It was a wooded location area where Desiree was actually able to bring on a canine search team with their volunteers. They arrived and underwent a deep investigation. Mm-hmm. And again, there was so much love. Oh my gosh, there was an interview with her, and she was just like in tears about like how much she appreciated them coming out and like searching. Like, it was so much,
definitely,
like so much love. It just gave me chills.
I think we have a video of that.
Yeah.
One of these.
It was so like,
maybe we don't.
She is. But yeah, and with this search, they didn't find Kyron, but they did find evidence of, something within this case. It was never mentioned. I really wish it was, but it must be something important that could help them with this case.
This is something that they found that, they haven't released to the public either. Right. However, in that same video, they did find a bone. Do you remember? It was like a pretty large bone, and my first instinct was like, I don't know, if that's human, that's not a kid's bone, because it was pretty big.
Yeah.
But oh my God, like you could see it in the mother, like she didn't want to look. She didn't want to look, and she even said that later. She was like, it was one of those things like I didn't want to look, but I had to for the sake of Kyron, and it was just like really heartbreaking. And
yeah,
you got like a first glimpse, like a first person view at like kind of what that felt like, just like the heartbreak she was going through.
Right, definitely. I believe it was the Crime Watch Daily one, which is really interesting. So definitely
we look at a lot of stuff from them. They do a really good job.
They do. Wow, yeah. I mean, I know like we cover these cases, but we do it for like, we like love like bringing these to the
honestly
table.
We talk about this stuff constantly between ourselves. We were like, why don't we just record ourselves?
Yeah, and we were thinking We should do like a shower podcast because we.
I don't think.
I mean, that's just like when I get like our good ideas. All right, maybe we'll say that for another podcast, another day.
Yeah, probably not live or with video.
Oh, right. Yeah, we won't do that live. Oh, definitely not. All right. And so this actually, we have so much information that's coming up with Terry Horman. There was also reports that revealed that she actually hired a hitman to kill her husband, Cain, who's the father of Kyron. So this was she actually hired someone 6 months before Kyron went missing.
What was it? The landscaper?
The landscaper of their house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he actually came to police and said, I think they questioned him originally, and then he came back later and said, hey, like, this did happen.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Yeah. Like why isn't she arrested at this point? Why? Like, it's just...
People get arrested for far less.
Yeah, like, what, Joe Exotic? He got arrested for what? Like,
murder for hire.
Murder for hire. Why?
He also killed a bunch of tiger cubs, which is terrible. That was probably part of it, but still, 22 years.
Yeah.
Like, 22 years.
Yeah, so anyway.
I don't know.
After Cain heard about this, which would be extremely scary, he automatically had complete suspicion that she did something to Kyron. I think anybody would.
They just felt it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so Cain actually left her on June 26th after learning the investigators told him what she was up to. He filed for divorce, obtained a restraining order against Terry, and gained full custody of their daughter that they had together. And after this, Cain also believes that she attempted, to kidnap their 20-month-old. Oh, I'm sorry. She attempted to do something to Cain, and also she attempted to kidnap their daughter, who was 20 months old, while he was at the gym. So he believes that
another
that
thing that's nuts here is kind of looking at Dee Dee, because once they divorced, she moved in with Dee Dee. Dee Dee was like there for her, which, I mean, a best friend should be. But in this situation, we know that Dee Dee was like a really bad influence.
Very.
And that's, I think, the more time with Dee Dee, the worse things actually kind of get, know? So I don't know. Maybe she's very well like influenced by Dee Dee. We don't really know, but it kind of feels that way.
It does. But that's not all that Terry did. She also had a criminal background. She, like I said, in 1990, she was accused of another murder for hire plot. She was with her boyfriend at the time named Sean, and the two were 20 and 18. They got some Chinese food and they were sitting down at the park to eat when a strange man came out of the bushes, approached them with a gun. And even though no shots were fired, the man eventually ran off. Terry made a strange comment to Sean that Sean revealed to investigators, and she told him that the guy was here for him.
Which is...
What would you think? Why?
Right.
Why? Like, what is Sean? What is her plan in this?
Right.
Is there like an insurance thing going on? Like, what is her?
I think
motive?
she just wants to get rid of people who are in her way, kind of. You know? And
I
like
really
I think he even said like the relationship wasn't that good. It was kind of like towards the end.
Yeah.
You know?
So I kind of feel like she's like a spiteful person. Like, she does things out of spite. Like, kind of feeds off of that. Like, fire feels,
Mm-hmm.
something about her. But yeah, she did that, and then she did a interview with a bunch of people. The most recent one was actually with Dr. Phil, which do we have that? I believe I saw it whenever you were clicking around.
Oh yeah, we do actually.
So
what was this? This was courtroom audio. Actually, we should play this one too, because there was some like courtroom audio that was kind of interesting, and this was Terry.
Okay, go ahead and play that.
Tell me why you want the name change.
I decided that I wanted to start a new life under a new name.
Any other reasons?
No, sir.
You have received some negative attention concerning the Kyron Horman case, and therefore you want to change your name. Is that a fair paraphrase?
Mm-hmm.
And tell me how it would help.
To start over a new life with not having the stigma of Horman attached to it.
In the end, the judge denied her.
Which is like, I guess it goes both ways for me, because You know, like a lot of people know that name and they associate it with her, but at the same time, like it's just bizarre.
Yeah.
You know?
And we all know, like, okay, this was broadcasted on Crime Watch and also recorded. Her last name is now her maiden name. She's going back to her maiden name, Moulton. But it's crazy, you know, she's trying to get away from the name Horman. Like, she's just trying to bury that past, like it never happened. Just put it behind her, move on with her life. You know, she is getting a lot of crap though from people, you know.
Yeah, it's hard to like really say, you know, but to me it's like I'd want to plead my innocence, you know. I'd want to like help as much as I could. Like I would want to prove like my innocence through my actions, not kind of just like hiding away.
But I mean, she is getting a divorce with Kane. It's kind of like it's a rough patch in her and everybody's life. Absolutely. But so I mean, yeah, anyway, but she did do this interview here with Dr. Phil. This face that you see here is basically the whole face the whole time. Very serious, very, you know, she's definitely standing her ground that she had absolutely nothing to do with
This
Kyron's
is her. I'd like
disappearance.
to talk to the manager face.
I'd like to speak with your manager. I am the manager. Okay, well then.
I love Dr. Phil though. Like
Yeah,
I
he was
honestly do.
interesting.
Like I used to hate him, and maybe I don't like him for the right reasons anymore, but like it's hilarious to me. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, he's really good at what he does. He's actually very, you know, he gets people to come out, you know, to, I don't know, you see tons of things on there. But he does a great job at what he does.
So what this video kind of talks about is kind of these weird text messages that she had, you know, kind of sexual, honestly, you know, just very recently after the divorce, you know, and not only that, but days after, you know, Kyron went missing, where like, I don't know, like we said before, everybody deals with stuff differently. It's so hard to like say you should act like this, but that stuff should be like in the back of your mind, in my opinion.
Right. But yeah, so she meets up with this guy and she's having like, you know, she's just moving on with her life right off the bat, like starting off fresh. It's pretty crazy.
You're posting on Facebook a few days afterwards with things that some people were critical of. For example, saying, hitting the gym tomorrow, I didn't get home until 8 p.m. tonight. This is 4 days after Kyron
just life as usual
has gone missing. At this point, you don't know if he is been kidnapped and is being raped and tortured, is lying dead and cold in a ditch. You don't know what is going on. And you say, hitting the gym tomorrow, I didn't get home until 8 p.m. tonight. That, I think, would be viewed as a lot of people as atypical behavior for a distraught mother of a missing child.
Well, that would be because the law enforcement told us to go to told us to do things that we normally do. So they want you to go grocery shopping. They want you to go to the gym. They actually specifically told both Kane and I, and he was with me that day when we went.
Did they tell you to sext with someone 26 days afterwards?
No.
I love his sarcasm is so serious.
Because I found this really strange behavior, and I have to tell you, I have a hard time squaring this up, and I have to say, I took out, there were many of these that I just simply, FCC can't put up, and I'm only putting your side up here, but you're texting with a man, and you say, whatever, like I'm going to get any ever again.
I don't know how she says
tell Jason Statham I'm available for whatever. I can bench, you're talking about bench pressing, I can do 195, that's how I roll.
195.
And you say, you know, you're flirting around, I'm stronger than you, he responds. You say, we need to arm wrestle. Meanwhile, just know I can take you down. I won't hurt you, though. I'll pin you down and sit on you.
What is this
I take it you're attracted to me.
Like,
okay, I didn't want to ravish you or anything.
She might be into that sort of thing.
She's very dominant.
Did I say that out loud? if you didn't have your son tonight, I would show you what I think of you. I may have to clear it with the boss. We talked about hiring this defense lawyer extraordinaire. You're toast, beware. Grin, going to bed, underwear and tank top. Think about that. Do you want to pick? Then you send a photo and
she
say, that's
smiled.
Only the left one. I quote unquote aim to please. Did you want something bigger? Another photo. I mean, it gets much more graphic. So
that's humiliating, though.
We're talking not 3 weeks that your son has been missing.
And not 2 weeks into it, this is what Kane's doing with somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about you as a mother.
Exactly.
Kane's not here. He's been here. You're here. I'm asking you, you're a mother with a missing child.
Trying to deflect.
This was in retaliation for something that he was doing that I found out about while this is happening. And this particular person was
getting rid of Kyron retaliation?
Friend and sent to the house. So this was a setup. I'm saying this person came to the house. He was Kane's friend. I did this deliberately because I was angry and getting back at him.
See, she's a spiteful person. Exactly what I was saying.
I had no interest in having this person in my life. This was something to screw with Kane because I was angry with him because he was doing the exact same thing.
Typical sociopath, you know, like.
But you apparently are trying to hide it because at one point you say, I can't talk, bugs in the house, in danger if I go outside. I want you so bad. I don't know what it is about you, but I'm very attracted to you. Give me 15 minutes and I will make you moan.
Okay.
I mean, and you're saying...
So as you can see, like, you guys can watch more of that. It's pretty interesting. But you get the idea.
Kind of getting back serious, because it's like, that stuff's kind of like, it's funny, you know, because it's just ridiculous. Right. But... I mean, getting a little more serious.
Yeah. And I mean, like, what, when you look, I was talking to Ricky about this whenever we were talking about the case. What I kind of feel like happened, and I don't know if this was anywhere, I just kind of like thought of it. I'm just like, well, I just wrote a couple notes down. But what kind of makes me wonder is maybe she didn't really do anything physically to Kyron. What if she actually hired someone, just like she did in the past here, to kidnap him or murder him or do something where she wasn't actually doing anything, like, you know,
I mean, she's a delegator.
Yeah.
Like, you can see it in her history, the murder for hires and everything like that.
So it's like whenever she's being questioned, like, what did you do that day? It's like,
well, I didn't do it.
Yeah. She kind of like takes it out of her memory. Like, I didn't do anything. But what if she did hire someone? Like, what if, you know, it's definitely a possibility. She obviously has connections and, like, people, you know, she's into this thing. And I really honestly believe it was all for spite because their marriage was going downhill. You know, maybe Kane was talking to someone and she just felt like she had to do something to get at him. Which, this is just extreme. And I can't believe this lady here is walking free in the streets. If she did do this, she's definitely a suspicious person. But she's, you know, it's scary that she's just like walking free, and she really is a danger to society. You know, the people that are around her now, like, do they really know, like, what she is possibly capable of?
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's scary. You know, like, even people, like, other than this case, like, this happens all the time. You know, you don't really know someone. But on another note here, Kyron's family really hopes, like, every day they find Kyron. And just, like, you know, if you'd like to follow the Facebook page, there's a Facebook page where they're always posting pictures and things like that, which I do follow. And, you know,
she's also made, the biological mom, Desiree, she's also made some posts that, you know, kind of like build up this hype that arrest was going to be made soon and some evidence was discovered. But it's been a few years even. So, like, I don't know if they're just holding on to information and they're not quite there yet, or if those things fell through. Yeah. You know, it's nuts. And I just really hope that, either they find their son or they get some answers.
I really do.
I
couldn't imagine living like that. And the one thing is like, okay, you ask yourself, why hasn't she been arrested? They don't have proof. Like, they don't have physical proof that she actually did it. They have a suspicion, but there's nothing there that with, red tape that says, here's her fingerprints on this. They need to find more. They need to find the evidence. They need to find that. So they're always searching, they're keeping an eye out. They're keeping the lines open for any tips, and they're always following them. And there's always new tips coming in too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's crazy. It really is.
Yeah.
But so far, along with this investigation, Desiree is releasing a book soon. It's about her son, Kyron, and it's being sold on Amazon soon. It hasn't been released yet, but it's called Love You Forever. I'm sure it's a beautiful book, and it's written by Rebecca Morris. So if you'd like to learn more about the case, there's always the book that will be coming out soon.
That's not it.
But that's pretty much it. Was there anything else that you could think of to add?
No, not really. It's a really sad case, and a lot of times we don't like to cover cases that don't really have like an ending. But in this one, like, and maybe it sounds cliche, but it's just like I'm so hopeful that they'll find some answers and just like really help that family out.
I wish I could like go there and just like search and like be a part of that. Really
and I mean, it's been so many years, but there's still time. There's still information out there that someone might know. Hope. That they can use anonymous hotlines. Like you can come to the police. You can let people know. And if they don't find him alive, at least they can build some closure for the family.
Right. But this is our episode that we tried out live. Let us know what you guys think. It might be a little rocky. Hopefully we get better at this. But we definitely appreciate you guys always on our Instagram, always asking us and commenting on our pictures. We really love you. And, definitely follow us, like, comment, subscribe,
all that stuff.
The stuff.
Instagram, Twitter, which,
What else we got? Yeah.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, obviously. We're going to share these on YouTube also. And we're still going to edit this down, I'm pretty sure. And we're going to put it on our podcast timeline, like our feed. So, you'll still be able, if you don't want to participate live, you don't want to do that stuff, you can still listen the way that you always did. Yeah. And make sure to tell your friends about Crime Salad and, just kind of keep this thing moving.
Definitely. So we'll talk to you later.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Are you kidding me? That was perfect.
All the blood, all the pain.